Hello, everyone. This is David. Metal Mickey asked the question, what drives you to buy multiple copies of the same item? I took that to mean multiple copies of the same album. I wouldn't buy a CD if I already had it. Like, if let's just grab a random CD. So, let's take Journey, Trial by Fire. If I found this for $0.25, I would think I already have that. So I don't really need it again. Unless I'm buying it thinking somebody might want it, or, I bought 3 Counting Crows albums for $0.25 each. One with the intention as giving it as a joke to my friend Joe, who hates Counting Crows. But let's say the question is really, what makes you buy the same album over and over again? Here are all the reasons I have done that. So we'll start out with the Eurythmics, In the Garden. Got it for $2.95. This is actually where I was going to stop with Eurythmics. I didn't really think I was going to get all the rest of them. I have since gotten all the rest of them. I got them in the original versions that weren't remastered, because I couldn't find any of the remasters. But I already had this. This was the remastered version. So I originally bought the remastered version of In the Garden. I need to start learning to take these damn used stickers off right away. When I got the rest of the collection, I bought them in the original versions, and that was good enough for me. So that's why I bought a second copy, because I wanted it to kind of go along with all the rest of the versions that I had. Nothing's worse than you have a 5-disc changer at work or whatever, and you have 4 discs that are like the old original versions, and then you have a remaster, and then suddenly the whole album is super loud or a lot bassier. I will say with the Eurythmics, they did a great job on remastering them. They brought up the bass, so it's a more present, but not annoyingly present, and the volume isn't that bad. It's not brick-walled or anything. The second thing, I have a few things here. Voivod, Dimension Hatros, along with the other 3 noise reissues. I kept this, even though I have this, because sometimes I just want to grab it and not worry about the digipack in my car and stuff like that. And I also like to go back and listen to what the original master sounded like. That is why I'll keep the same thing, but usually it'll be a different remix or a different remaster. The only things I don't have the original Megadeth stuff. I just have the remastered versions, and the first 2 albums, I really like the remixes and remasters. I know there are problems with, like, Rust in Peace, him redoing vocals and all that shit, but I don't really care. So that is a reason for that one. Oh, the Beatles. Oh, my God. I grabbed the White Album because it's the one that I have. Well, I have also Sgt. Pepper's, but this is an easier one. So originally, I had this version, the ones that came out in 1995 or something like that. The original CDs. When they came out in 2009, again, another sticker that I haven't completely taken off. When they came out in 2009, they came out in these stupid-ass digipacks, right? Well, guess what? This thing made it impossible to slide out without scuffing it. So, with all the Beatles stuff that I already owned, which was like 95% of their albums, I bought them in the digipacks. I actually got them used. And then I took, this is going to be gross to some people, I took the booklet and the CDs from the digipack, and in this case the poster, and I put them in this case, so I wasn't sliding the discs in and out of those stupid sleeves. So that is why I have 2 collections of the Beatles. I will probably have 3 if they keep on doing these huge versions, the Beatles and Escher demos, which is, look at this. I hate that. I don't know how that happened. I think it was in my bag and it got bumped. But these, they were smart and put trays. So if for some reason the original, these were trays, I would have sold this a long time ago, but because I wanted to switch the CDs and the artwork into the jewel case, I had to keep them, and I'm okay with keeping extra Beatles. And by the way, that has backfired on me, because there have been times where I grabbed the digipack, the 2009 digipack version, and thinking it was the correct CD in there, and remembering, oh, that's right, this is the 95 version, or whenever in the 90s that they did them. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell, I didn't get the poster with this? Forgetting that I put the poster in with this. Here's a funny one. Tom Waits, Real Gone. Now, if you can see that, you can see kind of that this one has a texture. This is the original one. The one that doesn't have a, that's just all smooth. This is, and I kept this. So, newly remixed, remastered with Carl Dörfler, and remastered with Waits and Brennan. So, the cool thing with this, compared to this is a remix where they actually added tracks that were never on this version, especially Hoist That Rag. If you listen to Hoist That Rag, totally different. Type in Tom Waits Hoist That Rag, listen to the first minute of it, and then listen to Hoist That Rag remix. It has saxophones added and everything. So that's why I keep those 2. I love R.E.M. Out of Time. It is the perfect breakup album. I bought this the night my girlfriend when I was in 12th grade broke up with me. The funny thing is, I don't relate it to that breakup or that relationship at all, but it is the perfect breakup album. So I had this forever, and then I picked up the box that has all the demos, and originally I didn't have a Blu-ray player, and I don't now because my Blu-ray player just fizzled out one day and I couldn't watch my Overkill DVD or a Blu-ray, and that irritated me. But this was available like this with a Blu-ray, and I couldn't play Blu-ray, so I picked up this, which is the CD and DVD in 5.1. And this has one of the best ratings I've ever seen on the Hoffman forums. If you want to go to a really pretentious site where people look at WAV files to determine whether something sounds good or not. So that is why I have, because this is the DVD, this is the demos in this box, and this is just the regular CD. I technically could get rid of this, but again, sometimes I just want to grab that CD. This band s.u.p, which I have done a very long video of, they did this album called Cube 3, and this version has death metal growls and clean vocals, but this version that comes in a little slimline thing, and actually The guitarist, when I ordered and was talking to them before I did their video, I ordered stuff and he sent me an extra copy of this. This is the version with just death metal vocals on it. So, same album, death metal and clean vocals, just death metal vocals. And I keep it in this handy little plastic bag so that I can, so it doesn't get lost, or so they don't get lost, I should say. I could do this off the camera, but too bad. Let's see, what do we have here? This was original Genesis Foxtrot. I had bought all these original versions on Atlantic discs for my nephew Greg way back in like 96 or something like that. Man, this lighting is weird. I'm looking really yellow. Wait, if I take that out, yeah, so it's the cover. But he gave me a bunch of CDs and vinyl, and he said, if there's any CDs in there you want, you can keep them. So I kept all the original versions of Foxtrot because I wanted to compare what this version sounded like to, this is the definitive edition remaster, and then this is the version that came in the box set. And as you can see, it comes with DVD, 5.1 surround sound with interviews and stuff. They actually remixed this, and a lot of people on like progressiveears.org and Hoffman forums just complain about the remix and especially the remaster. Probably not so much about the 5.1. I also have all the Peter Gabriel stuff like that. Gentle Giant Octopus. This is the first album that I ever heard by Gentle Giant, and it is fantastic. This is what the original European cover looked like, and it was done by, oh gosh, who was that? Who was that guy? The guy who does all the Yes album covers. I'm not even sure what his name is. I'll think of it as soon as I get off of this video. What was the cover called? It really doesn't matter. Anyway, this was the original. So they remixed this. They finally got, not remixed, they remastered this. They finally got the rights to remaster. And then in like 2015, Steve Wilson went back to what they had for master tapes, which is only like half of it, and he remixed what he had and then did a 5.1 version and a 5. And a new stereo mix out of the things that he had. This is kind of cool because it has the American cover in it too. But sometimes you just want to have the easy digipad or the easy jewel case. These are things that I don't have multiple copies of anymore. All the King Crimson stuff, I was just getting rid of that stuff. But if there's any different version, this has the all of these have the original album mix for the 30th anniversary, the 2011 stereo mix, and 5.1 all on the DVD. So I really don't need those old versions if I want to listen to them and compare them to the other ones. They're on the DVD, which is pretty cool. I kind of wish I still had them, but I have a friend who likes Talking Heads, and I gave him the 3 that Adrian Belew was on. And then sold the rest. And that's another reason, you know, nobody gives you anything. I've had this for quite a long time, and I got these Metal Mind reissues. I wish I still had the Last Crack original version. I just have the Metal Mind version. Sometimes I like to go back and forth because the the mastering sometimes on these things that are done like in European countries, like this is, I think, from Poland. I think Metal Mind is, and they're all limited edition. They have these goofy, they have these goofy stamps on them. Sometimes it's questionable, like the Rock Candy reissues. If you get any of those, like sometimes the remastering is just totally brick walled and clipping. I know the Icon Night of the Crime was like that. So that's why I have that. And then the last three things. I have this version. I sold the old jewel case because it didn't really have anything. Oh no, I actually gave that to my friend Mike. But I also have these big box versions that in size, that's the difference. And you probably think, well, if you have this, why do you need this? Well, CD number 2 and the DVD in this is a show at Carnegie Hall that is not available on this, because on this it is, let's see, live at Stockholm. So they put a totally different live one in there, which I think is cool because it gives me a reason to hold on to that old one. Aqualung, as I like to call it. Well, you know, when we were doing the Aqualung album, you know, we went into the studio that Led Zeppelin weren't playing in. That's my off the top of my head version impersonation of Ian Anderson. I love how Martin Barr talks. You know, we were at a practice space in Bermondsey. I think it was Bermondsey. I love how he says Bermondsey. I just want to go to Bermondsey just to be in the place they were talking about. So this version comes out. This is a remix done by Steve Wilson again, and it has associated recordings, and then the DVD has the whole thing in 5.1. And you're probably wondering, well, if that has that, why don't you just, you know, get rid of one? Because the quad version of Wind Up was on here, but it is not on here. And the number one reason to keep this is because there is an interview with Ian Anderson. The same reason I have the Thick as a Brick original, like 95 or 98 disc, is because there's an interview with Ian Anderson and another interview with Martin Barre, or whatever, however you pronounce it, and I think Jeffrey Hammond. So that is why I keep those. And the last example of why I would have multiple versions of the same album, another one of these big booklets. And look at this. Look at this. How can you not rebuy this? Oh my God, look at that. That is what, that's like liner note porn is what that is. That is liner note porn. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's, you can't look at that at school. No, you'll get suspended. This has a lot of stuff. 2 CDs. There's associated recordings. Disc 2 and 3 are live in concert. And then there's a DVD of the full album in 5.1 again, and a DVD of, I believe, the whole live show also. Just amazing. You're probably saying, why do you keep this then? Let's just say I didn't care about bringing this into my car or to work, and I didn't care about, you know, it getting beat up. Why do I have this? Bradford Bazaar. One song that is not on here. I don't care though, because I'm keeping them both. So Metal Mickey, I hope that answers your question. No, I don't have multiple copies of the exact same thing. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is just absurd and a waste of money. But when there is a remix, when there is a remaster, not so much of remasters anymore, remix, remaster with extra bunches of stuff like those Voivod things. 5.1 surround sound. Um, let's see what else. Bonus tracks, stuff like that. Those will get me to buy things over again, but I really, really have to love the album, and I love everything I've shown here. So, take it easy.